Welcome to the Literally First Class podcast, where I will teach you how to overcome anxiety and achieve somatic success. I'm your host, Keri Ford. I'm a somatic success and holistic life coach here to bring humor, insight, and wisdom to the modern day woman that wants to feel alive in her daily life. You ready? Come on, I saved you a seat in first class. In this episode, I am talking about all the questions that I've been getting on my explant surgery, on breast implants, and I want to preface this first by saying I am not a medical professional. I am a health expert, and I am a somatic professional, but I am not a doctor, so this is not intended to heal, prescribe, or diagnose in any way, shape, or form. Also, I'm certainly not an explant specialist. I will have Dr. David Rankin, my personal plastic surgeon and doctor, on the podcast in the near future, but these are answers based on my own personal experience and my own personal interpretation of the things that I have learned. So please take how I answer these questions with a grain of salt and know that these come from my lived experience and my interpretation to the things that I have learned. So I've told you guys a lot. If you've really listened to any of the explant journey episodes, they're all labeled My Explant Journey, part 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one will be Q&A specific. I've probably answered a lot of the questions up until this point just by sharing, but I'm going to review a few of the questions I've received anyway, just in case. I think it's better to be a bit redundant than to skip over questions, because maybe how I say it the next time or the third time or the fourth time, it just lands differently, even when we've heard it the first time. So someone wrote, I need all the details on the explant surgery. Sort of a broad question. There wasn't really a question in there, so I just encourage them to go listen to every single one of these explant journey episodes, and I'm sure you will find potentially the question you're looking to be answered inside there. Which doctor did I go to, and did they take out the complete capsule? I went to Dr. David Rankin in Jupiter, Florida at Aqua Plastic Surgery Center. I did travel here. I live in Georgia. He's located in Florida, so we drove here. And yes, he did take out the complete capsule. Were my implants ruptured when they came out? No, they were not. They were not actively ruptured or leaking, but they were still leaching into my body because the external shell of all implants is made of silicone. And silicone is made from a combination of polymaterials and heavy metals, which then get into your blood and release about 40 different type of, toxins in the bloodstream. Someone said, I'm 50 and I feel so self-conscious about my boobs. 4 kids later, and I have been back and forth about implants. Here's the funny thing. We think that we're getting our body back after kids, but what we're buying are health problems. We're not getting back into anything. If we're not getting closer to our body by putting implants, we're getting further from our body. We're getting disconnected from our body. Go listen to my last explant journey podcast episode, where I talked about even the consciousness that the implants held when I walked through the surgery in my mind the night before. They didn't want to leave my body. Even though my body really wanted to release them, on some level I had given them some power. I had given them some level of consciousness that says, I need you to feel like all of me. And that's the lie we buy into. There are so many other options for us as far as surgeries go. Again, pro plastic surgery over here. You can enhance your breasts with fat transfers, breast lifts, skin reductions, all sorts of things. You can do a ton of those without ever putting an implant in your body. And I've talked about, again, the dangers of having the implant in your body is that it is encapsulated with a silicone shell. So it doesn't matter what's inside them. I mean, here's the other thing. You can always just go for a consult around a lift or a fat transfer and just see how you feel. Do some research. This episode is presented by Journey to Financial Freedom. Ladies in leadership, take note. Are financial obstacles dimming your sparkle? It's time to heal your money story, because a true visionary can't fully soar when they're weighed down by financial uncertainty. Say hello to Journey to Financial Freedom. JFF isn't just about spreadsheets and dollar signs. They cater to women just like us, the trailblazers, the game changers, the women who are destined for greatness. It's why I signed up with them. They help make financial intricacies clear so you can stay focused on your vision. They merge smart financial strategies with an intuitive emotional understanding, reshaping exactly how you see your wealth and your worth. They recognize that our financial narratives run deep, and when they don't align with our ambitions, they simply become barriers. JFF is offering listeners a free strategy call using the link in the show notes below, so make sure you schedule that today. Just looking through more questions here on my phone. Things that I've gotten. Okay, someone said, did I get a lift after the removal? Yes, I did have the explant. I had the implants removed, and then I also had a lift. He didn't do a lollipop lift, or I believe his signature lift, Dr. David Rankin's signature lift, is called a J lift for explant patients. I did a modified lift based on what he and I decided pre-op, which was based on my surgery history, based on scars that I already had and incisions that had been already made and the level of healing that they had already gone through. What would give me the best outcome and the aesthetic look I was going for without more incisions. And so he decided just to do a kind of like a smile under the breast, but a wider one, kind of like a jack-o'-lantern. And then he would close the gap of skin and push the breast up at the same time, which would even out my nipples. And then it would also simultaneously push the breast up and give it a little bit more of that fullness that I was looking for and the lift effect without actually having to move the nipple and remove it and all that stuff. Because I had done that before, I already had scars, and to be honest, it's made my healing a lot better. So I'm really grateful that I got that. Someone said, I want to do explant surgery too, but I'm so nervous. What if afterwards they look like flapjacks? Maybe or maybe not. I mean, there's also, again, a ton of surgeries you can do after. Let's say you get them explanted. I know that Dr. Rankin will remove the implants, and then he will tell you to come back and schedule a separate surgery to have the fat transfer when you're healed. So it's a 2-part surgery for the fat transfer just because you want it to take. You want those fat cells to stick instead of risking them dying off because of the trauma that's already occurred in the surgery to remove the explant. So it's a 2-step process, but there's always options. All right, I'm just scrolling back in my phone here to look at questions y'all had. There were quite a bit. Did I get the nerve block? Yes, I did the nerve block that Dr. Rankin offers, and I also did the banana bag, which contains thiamine, folic acid, and magnesium, all for healing. And then I also did what they call their Myers cocktail IV bag, which includes vitamin C, vitamin B complex, vitamin B12, magnesium, and glutathione. So those are all beautiful vitamins and things that they give you in surgery through the IV bag. The nerve block helps to really deflect some of the pain initially. I do feel sore today. I'm post-op a couple days now, so I feel progressively a little bit more sore, but he also had to do some scraping to remove the implants from the chest wall. So that really depends on the woman and the implants. Other people don't have that. So you might not have any soreness. You might not have any pain. Overall, I felt really good. I actually felt like, despite being a little bit boozed up on the first day, I didn't feel any pain. I don't remember all the conversations I had that day, but I overall felt great. And like I said, I had immediate results with no stiffness in my neck. So even regardless, like pain aside, I actually had range of motion in my neck that I haven't had in 7 years. How long had I been sick before the surgery, and what did I do to keep going? So the thing I'll say about silicone poisoning, which is breast implant illness, is it's a very slow boil, right? At least it was for me. And in addition to this, I had brachial plexus injury / TOS, which was an impingement on the nerve in the left side of my neck. So it really started for me where I just began feeling tired. Like I would never wake up feeling refreshed. I played with different times to go to bed. I thought maybe it was like my body clock. So we'd go to bed earlier. I would wake up earlier. I'd go to bed earlier and then I'd wake up later. I played with all sorts of things. That became kind of progressively worse. And in the morning, I would often feel like I had been hit by a truck. It would just take me a very long time to wake up. And I would feel extremely slow to cognitively come online in the morning. So I just, as an entrepreneur, began scheduling my meetings and calls later in the morning, and I had the luxury to do that. But I was exhausted, even with good sleep. So that was bizarre. We also had our house tested for mold because we thought, well, maybe this is playing into that. I'm not sure. But I have had the severe neck pain throughout the entire 7 years. I just thought it was from an old lifting accident. I will say that no matter what I did, it didn't help, right? Nerve tests, I did electric stim, I did yoga, I tried to stretch it. I went to the chiropractor like sometimes twice a week. I had the Theragun. I mean, I've done all the things, essential oils, like icy hot, all the things. And then I had migraines, and this was the biggest one that had me seek out explant surgery because they were extremely paralyzing. I couldn't do much for 3-4 days at a time. And they started off, what felt like maybe every other month. And then they became every month. And then it was, completely unrelated to whether or not I had alcohol, whether or not I had gluten, whether or not I slept well, whether or not I was on my cycle. I mean, it just felt like nothing mattered. I just was getting them. And so that's when I was like, something is really wrong here and I don't feel right. I need to get this checked out. So I went and had blood work for hormones. I removed alcohol. I learned to manage my stress even better, even though this is what I do for work. And nothing was helping. I also became intolerant to alcohol, something I had never experienced before. I would have one drink and the next day I would be throwing up as if I went on an all-night rager. It just didn't make sense. Again, it did not make sense. My body was not processing and metabolizing things appropriately. And so that's also when I started feeling like something is not right. Something's not right. So I had a lot of support from my partner. I started expressing, hey, I'm having a bad day. And sometimes I would have good days, but the bad days became more frequent and more often and more intense. And that was, again, like we've got to do something about this because it was carrying on. And how I got through that was I talked to friends that are also health experts, doctors, PTs, neurologists, all the things. And they were all like, yeah, go get your implants checked out. So with the steady decline in health, like I just knew that I needed to do some more research and more digging. And then my friend Z Rojas had an explant surgery and I just thought, I wonder if there's something to that. And she was talking about how she started to feel better. So that was really where and when I started to do some research on the surgery. And then I found the explant documentary on Netflix. And then I found Dr. Rankin on Instagram and then. And I just went down the rabbit hole fully. And I just thought there's something to this. And it's actually quite infuriating that this is not even a medically recognized issue and that none of this has been covered by insurance. Let's see, what other questions did people ask? Someone said, I've heard about saline leaking, but the silicone leaks too. I currently have implants, but I'm looking to have a lift and go smaller. But if they're leaking, I may go the route that you went. So again, I'm going to keep saying this, but every implant, regardless of what it is filled with, is made with a silicone shell. This is the thing that leaches into the body. Whether there is a rupture or not, whether it is filled with saline or silicone, you still have silicone in your body that is exposed to the cells in your body because of the exterior shell of the implant. That is the problem. If you have implants, you have silicone in your body and it is leaching into your body, period. Someone wanted to know how am I feeling so far today. I think this was yesterday. I said I felt sore and a little tired. Sleeping upright is pretty challenging. You have to sleep at a 45-degree angle. It's not comfortable. And I am somebody who likes to shower or take a bath before bed every single night. So I felt sticky and just gross after surgery, but I couldn't shower until today. So that was ick. I may have answered all the other ones. Just scrolling through these. Yeah, someone asked me also, why did I get the implants? I originally got the implants because I thought it was going to offer me the aesthetic that I wanted. It feels like you get to buy into belonging in some ways, you know? And I think this is where the attachment and thinking that you are more desirable, more worthy, and more valuable when you have implants, and when you buy into that like in-group, if you will, there is something to be said about that. And for me, I probably could have gotten a fat transfer, but I was wanting the look of breast implants. So I was willing, again, to do what I thought was risk a rupture, but I didn't know that the minute I decided to get implants and they were in my body, that in and of itself was the danger. And that's what I wish I knew. So I'm sure we'll do another Q&A here. But those are the questions I've gotten so far that I can find kind of high level on my stuff here. I'll do one last thing. Sorry for the background noise. I'll do one last scan here of questions. There weren't too many on this, but a lot of people are saying, you know, this has empowered me to do more research. This has given me courage to finally get them out. Thank you for sharing your story. I admire your bravery and your vulnerability. And like, honestly, this is not meant for me to keep to myself. I, for whatever reason, feel this massive responsibility to be extremely vocal about my journey, what I've walked through. And if I'm really sitting here telling you the amount of money I have spent on explant surgery and implant surgery, I mean, we're talking like close to $25,000. That's an expensive lesson. And that's not even all the things that I've tried over the last 2 years to find some resolution. All the tests, the home mold tests, the hormone panels, the ongoing chiropractor, which I probably would have done that to begin with. But like, again, in the quest for more answers, I was willing to spend more money because I was starting to get really desperate and feel like, my gosh, like this is so, there has to be a reason. Like this is so bizarre. These migraines, they come out of nowhere. And like, I'm down for the count for 3 days minimum. Nausea, wincing, the whole bit. So it's an expensive mistake. Listen, if money is not an object, go get the fucking surgery for, again, the lift, the fat transfer, whatever. Don't get implants. All right. I'm signing off for today, but I'm sure we'll do another one of these. And we'll also get back to some of our more regularly scheduled content here on the Literally First Class podcast. But if you're listening to this and you do have questions, just send us an email at hello@elevatewithkeri.com or shoot us a DM at IamKeriFord or at Literally First Class, and we can feature that on an upcoming show. All right, have a great day. See you in the next episode. Keep it first class.
I hope you enjoyed your flight, and I'll see you on board again soon.
Seriously though, thanks for listening. If you're ready to take this work deeper and upgrade your mind, I want to invite you to join us inside my Millionaire Mindset program. This is where you'll start using my guided meditations to help you overcome anxiety and experience even more abundance. When you join, you'll have access to my entire audio library. Head over to elevatewithkeri.com and we'll see you inside.